Hello, hello, hello. It's Sunday. I'm CJ. This week we're talking about being trans in the workplace. I feel like a lot of these videos I spend time being like, hey, this is not a thing I know anything about. And this is probably one of those things that I know a lot about. I actually think probably being trans is not only a really important part of my job, but probably is what makes me any good at my job. What? Why are you having a wirrer? Somebody's having a bit of a day of it today. That's this somebody here. The job that I got with Educate and Celebrate is the first time that I had ever written a job application and in my covering letter stated, I identify as being trans, this is who I am, and that this is something to be proud of. I guess before that, I was really uncertain. I really wasn't sure about what path I was on. And so this was really the first time where I got to be like, no, this is who I am, and it's important to me that you know this. Now, I'm lucky, the charity that I work for are good people. And they care a lot and they know a lot about trans issues. They know a lot about what's going on in the trans world because we're an LGBT charity. So that level of care that I might not get somewhere else is really important, and is one of those reasons that I felt, really happy in my job. Because I live in the UK, I'm legally protected in my work. And the Equality Act means that nobody is allowed to discriminate against me based on me being trans, which is important because one, it's one of those things that, legal protections are super important, and anybody that tells you that they're not are probably people that are covered through the face through legal protections and just don't want anybody else to have it. And then the other is I would never want to get there in any job where it came to having to go through, legal actions or any of those kinds of things, because that would just be like a horrible experience. But it's nice to know that I can't be made to feel uncomfortable because of who I am as a person. And the having of that is something that's obviously, it helps you overcome an awful lot of shame in your own right, because you become aware of the fact that this is not okay and that this is a thing that people can't do. So for me, it was a no-brainer when I went for the job, and particularly because it was an LGBT charity. I was obviously going to come out and I just wanted to be out from the start. I wanted it to not be a question. Like with everything else in life, every time that you come out to somebody, you sort of become their token trans friend. That can be a little bit exhausting because it's a lot to take on, and it's a lot to take on particularly on those days when you're perhaps not having a great day. For me, that's also one of the highlights of my job, because, I get to have these conversations with people and then do something about it, my work allows me to write gender resources, and it allows me to facilitate workshops, and it allows me to go speak to teenagers about the full spectrum of gender, and to do trainings with people to make sure that we're living in a more informed world. So that is something that it's a price I'm willing to pay. And because when I say price, it makes it sound negative, and it isn't. It can just be difficult to be somebody's token. There will be days when some people get it wrong that should know better. There will be days when you have conversations where you feel like you're alone. But I think in a lot of ways that's something to do with the trans experience of living in a cisgendered world. You're going to have those days and you're going to have those times, but the brilliant stuff, the really good stuff that you get is so much more, I think. The moments where I really feel it. I get to put my pronouns on my email sign-off, and that's just an accepted, not a big deal. I did it and everyone was cool with it. And the idea of being in an environment where that's okay is everything to me, and I feel like all environments should be like that. It does mean that there will then be times with somebody who has engaged in a conversation with me over email who will then mispronoun me, and that can be really disheartening, in exactly the same way that being misgendered is always really disheartening. There will be intermittent points where somebody will do something, and to them it will be a slip, and to me it'll be a big deal, and to me it'll also be a big deal because I'm out. And because if I'm standing there is that moment of needing somebody to respect the amount of effort that it takes to be out every single day in an environment. But yeah, the pros absolutely have outweighed the cons for me. I don't think I'm in a particularly unique place in that. I think there's a reason that you see a lot of trans people in activism and involved in this kind of world. And I think the landscape is changing. I feel it changing. It's one of those weird moments of feeling genuinely like you're standing on a tectonic plate. We do a lot of stuff with schools, and the number of kids now who are not just coming out, but are coming out to everybody openly about, and I think the big thing is this really powerful movement that people are making right now, which is that they're coming out as just not being straight or not being cisgendered. And they really don't, nobody feels like they have to label themselves further than that. Everything else from that is this process of negotiation where you can sort of explore and work out who and how it is that you feel most comfortable. I guess for me, I've found that by coming out, by being out, I've given myself freedom. And it means that, and you know, it's helped me be not ashamed, because I'm not ashamed of being trans, not ashamed of being who I am, and that's really important to me. So yeah, so that's my take on everything, and that's certainly my take on being out in the workplace. I am going to take this chance. I'm going to put a link down below. My work, we have started a crowdfunder, because I obviously work for a non-profit, which is, you know, I work for a charity, and we are doing a poster campaign, and we're doing a poster campaign where we are trying to get posters with contact information for my charity, Educate and Celebrate, and Switchboard, which is the oldest LGBT helpline in the UK. We want to get posters with our information out into every secondary school in the UK, so that young people in these schools will have access to the kind of help and support that they may not know is out there for them. So I think, as with a lot of people, I'm just putting in a plea. If you feel like you've got some spare change, or you want to help out, please do click the link below and give what you can to help us do this, because that would be super amazing. And yeah, if you want to say that, like, you click the link from this video or something, I'll send you a daily update of Pig for a week, or whatever you want, because charities like I work for are doing the groundwork, and we're putting in the sort of grassroots efforts to make sure that life isn't just better for us, but it's actually better for everybody out there. So that's my small plea, and I will speak to you next week. Okay, bye.